Hi, it's Ileana. So today we're going to look at Lisa Renee's layout of the Stargates, starting with the planetary ones, the galactic, and the universal. And this is a follow-up. We had looked in the previous video at Ileana Dean's Stargates and planetary connections to portals and how that connects to the universal system of planets as well. Today we're looking at Lisa Renee's, and we're going to also look at the chakras and how they're connected. So for the stargates, we're going to start to look at our planetary stargates, which are on Earth. So the very top one, we're looking at the 12 grid tree of life. On the top is Montségur, and that is in France, I believe, and Kauai. That's in Hawaii, those two portals. Then we're going to the middle, looking at Vale of Pusey, which is in England, and Island. Then we are going to look to the right. It is Bam Tso, that is in Tibet, and Westbury, England. Abaddon and Basra, that is in the Middle East. Then we're going to look at the middle one, and this is following like the 8 chakras and the 12 points of planetary alignment for this particular 12 grid tree of life. And I'll link the first video where it describes all the densities and the dimensions and provides the numbers for all of these points and gates. So we have in the middle Xi'an, which is China, and Lop Nur, it's in Asia. Then we have on the left Moscow and Thar Desert, Europe. Then we have Lake Titicaca and Pocos. Lake Titicaca is in South America, close to South America, and so that is Lake Titicaca. Machu Picchu and the Vatican. Machu Picchu is again South America, and the Vatican is Rome, Italy, connected Rome and Italy. Then we have on the left the Bermuda and Johannesburg. Bermuda is not too far from Florida, the Bermuda Islands and the Bermuda Triangle. Johannesburg is in South Africa. Giza and Aqua Calantis. Giza, that's Egypt. Aqua Calantis, that is Europe, France, I believe. Sarasota and Easter Island. Sarasota, that's Florida, so there's a big portal there in Stargate in Sarasota, Florida. Easter Island is islands near the Galapagos. Haley, that's in Antarctica, and Antarctica has a lot of Atlantean artifacts, outposts, shipbuilding facilities. Most of it is hidden under the ice. Some of it has been found on the surface, and it's been secretly studied in archaeological exploration. And Giza, the Giza Plateau pyramids, there's underground chambers, labyrinths, technology left from ancient bases, from the Syrians, ships, several ships, UFO ships that were shown their obelisks, and that information was in my March 2023 remote viewing of what was on the surface level and underground where the Giza Plateau pyramids stand today. And all these underground complexes were being built 100,000 years ago, before the pyramids were even up there. They were building, the Syrians and the Egyptians, working together, not as slaves. The Egyptians weren't enslaved to build the pyramids. They were working with levitation and sound frequency technology that has tractor beams, and that they were able to lift those massive blocks and stack them in sacred geometry pyramid to align with Sirius in that triangular 3-section pattern, exactly with Sirius. So, and there's a lot of portals in France, Kauai, Hawaii. That's where the founders come. Some of the founders and the guardians in Kauai, Hawaii. I had been there. The energy is very beautiful, and the Lemurians had lived in Kauai and Easter Island. So at the bottom is, again, Haley and Cyprus. And Cyprus is in a different place in the world, not in Antarctica. So that's the planetary stargates and portals. And there's stuff in the desert as well. In Iran, Iraq, stargates, portals, ancient artifacts. Also in Jordan, there's the Alexander the Great's tomb in Jordan. And I had said that Alexander the Great was a super soldier, because in ancient times, Arcturians, Syrians, and other beings had chosen human soldiers and augmented their DNA, and they made Alexander the Great stronger, and he was a genius as a tactician, and he almost conquered half of Europe. So the man had ability because of genetic augmentation. Made him stronger, faster, smarter, more of a tactician and a planner. He had original traits of that on his own, but the DNA had been augmented. And he's said to have connections to Zeus. And also Poseidon and other beings, that he had connections to the pantheon of the gods. So those connections to the gods could be part of mythology, could be he was connected to extraterrestrials on some sacred level, potentially could be. I've studied that and I find that interesting. To me, it's more the super soldier stuff of the DNA augmentation by Arcturians and Syrians that I found interesting. And Syrians had also worked with the pharaohs quite a bit. So there's family Syrian connections connected to the pharaohs too, and a lot of other beings that had participated in the Atlantean experiment on Earth, extraterrestrials that contributed genetics to what we are today. Now we're going to look at the galactic aspect. At the very top, the 12th Stargate, that's the Sun, our Sun Sol. Then in the middle there's Nibiru. On the left there's Neptune. On the right hand side, Pluto. In the middle, Uranus. Left hand side, Jupiter. Right hand side, Saturn. In the middle, Maldek. That is one of the planets that was destroyed in the Lemurian, Pleiadian, Reptilian galactic wars close to 500,000 years ago. Just to put in perspective galactic history, another planet was Tiamat that was destroyed, and that was shown in Oceana Dean's 12-grid Tree of Life Stargate and portals. And those provide more detail in densities and dimensions and all the numbers that go with them. So I will link down below in the video description the first part of this video. This is part 2. Then we have under Maldek, going to the left, we have Earth, our planet, the one we're currently living on, and also ancient Earth, because Earth is several billions of years old. When I did a timescape remote viewing on Earth, it showed me it's more than 4-point-something billion years old, more like 15 to 18 billion years old. And I think our experimental universe is much older than 13 billion years old as well. So then we have on the right Mars, then we have in the middle Venus, and then at the bottom, which is the root chakra, we have Mercury. Then we go to the universal stargates, and that's the whole solar system. At the top, at the 12th gate, we have Lyra, Aramentana. Then we go to the middle, Lyra. We have Avion, Avalon. Avion is a planet of the feline species called the Orma, who have contributed a lot to Earth history and evolving Earth beings as well, to providing positive soul evolution to the humans. So current Lyra, in the Lyra system, current Avion 2, because Avion 1 was destroyed, the original planet, it was created later on. Avion 2 is on the cusp between Lyra and the Pleiades, and Oceana Dean's depiction of the universal stargates and portals, it actually puts Lyra and Pleiades on the cusp of Avion 2, where that planet is approximately. The other human name for that planet is Avalon, which had been an island during King Arthur's time. Avalon, Guinevere, Lancelot, the Knights of the Round Table. Avalon, that name was given to the Earthlings. That's another name for Avion. And Lisa Renee and Oceana Dean spell Avion slightly different than what the Orma spell Avion as. It doesn't have that E after the V. The Orma spell it differently. But Oceana Dean's 12 Stargate grid, the Tree of Life, actually shows Avion on the cusp of Lyra and the Pleiades, which is more accurate. Then we have on the left-hand side Andromeda, Nearach. Again, on the right-hand side, we have another Lyra-Vega connection. In the middle, we have Orion, Alnitak, and Mintaka. Then on the left, we have Sirius B, Procyon. On the right, we have Arcturus, Omega Centauri. Then in the middle, we have Pleiades, Alcyon. On the left-hand side, we have Alpha Centauri. On the right-hand side, we have the planet Nibiru. And some say there's also a starship called Nibiru that the Anunnaki have. I cannot really verify that. That's not my info, but that's what's been said. The planet Nibiru, it has Niburians, and it has Anunnaki, Syrians, and other galactic beings living there. It's not an Anunnaki stronghold anymore, just pure Anunnaki. And Anunnaki and Syrians have lived in different colonies on other planets together as part of trying to create peace experiments in the past, to try to coexist. Some of it, they tried to make it work. It kind of worked. Many Syrians left those colonies and moved on to terraforming and inhabiting other worlds. And Anunnaki were sort of left on their own to do their own thing. So not all Anunnaki are bad. There's groups and factions. Like most extraterrestrials have groups and factions of beings. There's reptilians, greys. Not all of them are bad or good. There's groups and factions of different types of beings. There's thousands of greys, thousands of reptilian species and gray species. You can't lump them all together in the type of species that live in the Orion sector of the galaxy. Because Orion is mentioned here, so that's why I'm kind of going up more. And Nibiru is where Anunnaki are. So then we have Epsilon Eridani, kind of in the middle, lower middle path. Then we have Orion, Theta in the root chakra. And again, Orion has many different beings and species. Pleiades have the Pleiadians, Nordics. Epsilon Eridani has many different beings as well, of various evolutionary paths of life. Lyra still has Lyrans. Many of the Lyran planets were recreated as well, because many of them in the Lyra system in the Pleiades had been destroyed originally during the Lyran and Pleiadian wars 500,000 years ago. Many of the planets were recreated because the energy core signatures of the planets and the DNA and the genetics of the animals, the plant life and the sentient beings on the planets were recorded in a higher vibrational field where that can be accessed to recreate the planets. And through also pyramids, crystalline technology and crystalline pyramids. So that can be done. Planets can be recreated based on the original templates of what first existed. That technology does exist in the universe. So this is what I call the 12th path of soul option exploration. Because as living beings, I call this 12 grid tree of life as an unfoldment and exploration path of the 12 path sequence of options in life. You have your planetary options, you have your galactic options, and you have your universal options of stargates, planetary systems, galactic connection, universal connections. Everything is living life force energy and creation in the universe, in the planetary systems on the galactic level. It's all interconnected, and it's part of our ancient galactic and planetary history. We are connected on a soul vibration to all of this, and we're starting to remember it. And this tree of life, this 12 grid soul path unfoldment of the 12th path unfoldment is discovering the layers of your soul options, your soul opportunities, the 12 paths and beyond that you can walk and choose. What is your best path to select in your life? Because you have energetic options, you have physical options to explore and choose what you vibrate with to create in your highest, best timeline of life creation to choose from. This is the tree of life, represents that. And it's 12 points, not 10 like in the Kabbalah, the Kabbalion. It's the inverted one is the 10 point. The true clean one, high energetic vibration, is the 12 points, what we're looking at here. Because it is planetary, galactic, and universal for those 12 points. The path of expansion, the path of opening, the path of expansion. This is it. This is part of it. And unfoldment. I call it the 12th path of unfoldment. Unfoldment, life exploration, soul exploration, the mind, the body, and the soul, and the physical body is part of these 12 grid tree of life patterns, energy and physicality, and how it connects and unites together in unity and harmony. And that's the 12 point tree of life. This is what the real tree of life looks like. It's 12 points on the energy scale, the physical frequency, and as a whole. That is the 12 points connected to the roots of planetary systems, galactic, and universal. So that is it, universe, universal. Now we're going to look at the chakras, because on the 12-point tree of life, it maps out the chakra systems and connects to the chakra systems. So the first chakra is in red. It's the root chakra. It is about survival, trust, grounding. Sanskrit, Muladhara, that's the Sanskrit name. That's its Sanskrit name. The mantra is I am, the location base of the spine. Sound is Lam, L-A-M, Lam. Gland, the adrenal color, red-brown. Then we have the sacral chakra, which is connected to sex, creativity, abundance. The Sanskrit name for it is Swadhisthana. Mantra, I feel. Location, lower stomach / pelvis. Sound is Vam, V-A-M. The gland is the gonads. Color for it is orange. Then we have number 3, which is the solar plexus chakra. It is connected to power, vitality, and manifestation. The Sanskrit name for it is Manipura. The mantra for it is I do. Location is the belly button. The sound for it is Ram, spelled R-A-M. The gland is the pancreas, and the color is yellow. The number 4 chakra is the heart chakra. It's connected to love, healing, acceptance. The Sanskrit name for it is Anahata. The mantra for it is I love. The location is center of the chest. The sound is Yam, spelled Y-A-M. The gland is the thymus. The color of the chakra is green, pink. Then we go to number 5, which is the throat chakra. And the connection is expression, communication. The Sanskrit name is Vishuddha. The mantra is I speak. The location is the throat. The sound is the hum. The gland is the thyroid. The color is azure blue. And the chakras are based on color and vibration, and connecting energetically and physically to the chakras for healing, for removing blockages, for moving energy and frequency in the mind, the body, and the thought consciousness. Enter inner connection and outer interconnection for healing, for balance, for grounding. Number 6 is the third eye chakra. That's in the middle of your forehead. It is connected to awareness, intuition, and thought. The Sanskrit name is Anja. The mantra is I see, because the third eye chakra is connected to your psychic ability in developing the psychic senses, going beyond the 5 senses, and exploring your empathic, telepathic, and psychic ability, going beyond the 5 senses. The location is the center of the forehead. That's why it's called the third eye chakra. The sound is Om, O-M. The gland is the pineal, which is also the center of psychic expansion and opening up energies to flow well between the left hemisphere of the brain and the right hemisphere of the brain, which should be in balance and alignment with the energetic frequency of the third eye and the crown chakra to develop psychic abilities, to develop remote viewing ability, and to do hypnosis. The color is indigo. Then we have the number 7 chakra, which is the crown chakra. It is connected to spirituality, enlightenment. The Sanskrit name is Sahasrara. The mantra is I understand. The location is top of the head. The sound is pure silence. Just silence. The gland is the pituitary. The color is white violet. Now there's also the 8th chakra, which is the oversoul chakra of all energy and vibration above the crown chakra. This grid doesn't show it, but it's above the crown chakra. It's the oversoul planetary chakra that connects all of it together energetically and physically for the chakra systems. And the more plainer, simpler version of this that really shows the color codes really nicely is you go from bottom to top. You start with the root chakra, which is red. Then you go to the sacral chakra, which is orange. Go to the solar plexus chakra, which is yellow. You go to the heart chakra, which is green. You go to the throat chakra, which is blue. You go to the third eye chakra, which is purple. You go to the crown chakra, which is a lighter purple mixed in with pink. Some of the chakra charts and diagrams, the colors might be a little different for each of them. And this shows more of the body, where everything is for the chakra systems. That's why I wanted to show two of these diagrams to show comparison and how the colors can be slightly different. Slightly different. It's not that different, but slightly different. And how it's represented. There's also crystals that you can find that are good for balancing the chakras, clearing the chakras, removing blockages from the chakras to do chakra clearing, balancing, and grounding. So there's different crystals for each chakra point on the body for healing. It's generally smooth touchstone crystals that have been polished that go on the chakra points, and when you're lying down you can put the crystals on every chakra point and it'll clear the energy and balance it in the chakras. And you can learn about chakra clearing, removing blockages with crystal healing. Anybody can find that on the internet. It's easy to find using chakra clearing with crystals. Those are some of the key word search to use to find which crystals are good for each chakra to work with, to put on your body when you're lying down, for healing, for releasing energy, for balancing energy, and bringing new energy for healing. Because energy is unlimited in the universe. We have access to healing energy at all times in our lives, and crystals help with that as well. So I wanted to cover this topic in that the 12 grid tree of life is highly connected to the chakra systems. It's to the planetary systems, to the galactic systems, and to the universal systems of the universe and beyond. And that each chakra has its own associations of what it is, what it does, and its own mantra, its location, its own sound, the gland it's connected to, the color, and what it feels like, what it vibrates at, what color it's connected to, and where every chakra point is on the body. These diagrams are very self-explanatory where that is and what's going on, and how it's connected to the 12 grid tree of life. And the 12 grid tree of life is also connected to the ley lines on Earth, to the energy frequencies of all creation, and the energy that we as soul beings experience on the daily basis. We feel this energy because it's connected to the portals and the stargates on Earth that support the function of the planet, the core of the planet, the living beings on the planet, as portals and stargates are connected to the ley lines, and they create a lot of energy that people can feel in their soul and vibration. Some people can even sense where the portals are in the stargates to find them and try to access them. They study this throughout their lifetime and go throughout many places on Earth to interact with portals and stargates and try to find where inner Earth is. Inner Earth has access points in Antarctica, in Tibet, in the Himalayas, in Hawaii, especially Kauai, the Grand Canyon, in the desert, Lake Titicaca, Machu Picchu in Peru. There is stargates and portals there in Abaddon, Basra in Egypt. Actually, the Giza Plateau pyramids underneath there's these chambers, the Egyptian Hall of Records, Atlantean Egyptian Hall of Records, and there's also a portal entrance to the Halls of Amenti, which is 7th, 8D, where the soul goes to rejuvenate, to heal, and to learn ancient Akashic records, wisdom, and other things to explore. That's under the Giza Plateau pyramids. And that was built a long time ago. The Sphinx could be older than 100,000 years. Because when I was doing that remote viewing, it was already there, but the pyramids weren't. All the infrastructure underground was there with a lot of artifacts, a lot of energy. There's 10 Arks of the Covenant. One under King Solomon's Temple, one under the Giza Plateau Pyramids, and in other places on the planet. I wouldn't be surprised if there's one in Antarctica in one of the Black Vaults. If there's even the Vatican could have one potentially in their underground archives and stuff, because they've collected a lot of artifacts. They have most of the Library of Alexandria. It was transferred to them much later because the Library of Alexandria had been demolished and burned down in Egypt. And a lot of the material ended up in the Vatican archives under the Vatican. They have a lot of facilities where artifacts are stored. The Smithsonian has artifacts, giant bones, and other things. So it's all interconnected with ancient Earth, hidden technologies, artifacts, and where things are on the planet in Stargate's portals, and how it's connected energetically and physically to our bodies and our lives. So I wanted to sort of explore this a little bit more and share this. Thank you so much.